All right, the Arkansas Department of Health says flu cases are still on the rise across the state, but compared to this time last year, it is a bit lower.
Yeah, in Northwest Arkansas, some school districts say that they are seeing that same trend as well. 5 News reporter Claire Everbach is joining us now. And Claire, what are school officials telling you about this flu season?
Well, the director of nursing for Siloam Springs Schools tells me that while they're still seeing students come in with flu-like symptoms, they're not seeing as many fevers or as many students sent home sick compared to last year. The director of nursing says education and daily cleaning protocols have been a big focus this season. State health officials also say that small prevention steps can make a big difference.
It's extremely important that people do take advantage of getting the flu vaccine, and they can go to their, primary care physician, or they can go to any local health department, any local health unit with the Department of Health and receive a flu vaccine for free.
With flu season typically peaking in January and February, it's not quite over. So if you haven't gotten the vaccine yet, health officials say that it's not too late to do so. Claire Everbach, 5 News.
Thanks so much for that, Claire. We sure appreciate it. 6:34 this morning. An 18-year-old accused of killing a Rogers teen is set to be back in court this morning.
Yeah, jury trial for Alejandro Zenon Reyes is scheduled to begin tomorrow, but prosecutors say that he was 14 at the time and is accused of shooting and killing 17-year-old Alexis Wynn in April of 2022. Investigators say that Zenon Reyes fled to Mexico with help from family members after the shooting. He was captured back in January of 2025. Those family members later took plea deals for helping him avoid arrest. Zenon Reyes is now charged with manslaughter and tampering with evidence and has pleaded not guilty. Now you can stay with us here at 5 News as we get those updates tomorrow and today. One investigation is underway in Mayan after a multi-agency chase on Sunday. Police say a suspect in Muskogee County hit and run led officers on the chase while reportedly naked. These photos were posted to Facebook by the Sequoia County Sheriff's Office. According to police, Griffin Hink of Edmond was spotted in Mayan, where he drove off when an officer tried to make contact. The chase then continued east on I-40, and authorities say a trooper used a tactical vehicle intervention to help end the pursuit. Hink was then taken to a hospital. You can read much more about this story at 5newsonline.com. Well, many tourists this morning stuck in Mexico after violence has erupted in parts of western Mexico after an army leader killed a powerful drug cartel leader.
Yeah, those travelers trying to return home as best they can. Wendy Gillette has a look.
Heavy smoke rose from several fires set in the city of Puerto Vallarta after the head of a Mexican drug cartel, 59-year-old Nemeso Rubino Seguero Cervantes, also known as El Mencho, was killed.
The city's pretty much all shut down.
The U.S. State Department warned Americans to stay inside. As the violence started to unfold, some in the region returned home, including this woman who saw smoke rising outside her plane bound for Houston.
I feel safe now, but I'm still shaking because I can't believe this has happened to us.
But others are stranded as some flights out of Puerto Vallarta and other cities were canceled.
Unfortunately, there were no available flights to get us out of PV until Thursday.
This is the car El Mencho was traveling in, the boss of a criminal network known for drug trafficking to the U.S. The White House says the U.S. provided intelligence support to help the operation that led to a shootout and his killing.
This was one of the most significant actions undertaken in the history of drug trafficking, almost at the same level as Chapo Guzman.
The drug lord El Chapo is serving a life sentence in a U.S. federal prison. The killing of El Mencho could lead to more unrest as rival gangs challenge each other for control. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
Well, the U.S. and Iran are on the brink of a major conflict as both countries have yet to finalize a nuclear deal. Military activity is rising as U.S. and Iranian officials prepare for Thursday's nuclear talks in Geneva. The USS Ford is in the Mediterranean. F-35 jets are on grade and transport planes are moving across Europe. Israeli intelligence reports Iran's missiles stockpiles are back to pre-attack levels, putting Israel and U.S. bases at risk. Diplomats say these talks will be critical in preventing a wider conflict.
Right now, we are negotiating only nuclear, and there is no other subject.
Well, while Iran maintains negotiations are limited to nuclear issues, U.S. officials are growing increasingly concerned. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff warns that the situation remains tense.
He's curious as to why they haven't, I don't want to use the word capitulated, but why they haven't capitulated.
With Thursday's Geneva talks approaching and military forces on alert across the region, officials say this week could determine whether diplomacy succeeds or if tensions will escalate further.